Okay, trucking story number 7. Charlie and I used to pull the tanker for an outfit out of Louisiana. And the type of tanker we hauled was called a smooth bore tank. And what that means is it has no baffles inside of it. So the product that you're hauling, when you come to a stop, sloshes inside the tank, back and forth, back and forth. And it takes probably 15 or 20 minutes for the slosh to quit, to be level. So we used to haul the same product out of the same place, and they would weigh us before we left their plant, and then we would weigh on a CAT scale, so we had further proof that we were within, under the, gross, which is 80,000. And there was, we used to, where did we go? Was that Panama City?
I don't know. You talking about rosin?
Was it rosin or?
Panama City. Rosin went to Panama City.
So it was a heavy product, which means the tank was only about half full, which means that there was an enormous amount of slosh. So we would cross the scale in Florida, and he did this to us every time, and he did it to other tankers, and it's just the dirtiest, most dishonest thing you can do to people to get a ticket out of them when they don't deserve a ticket. You'd get up on the scale, and you'd be sloshing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And he would not wait for you to quit sloshing. He would press this button, and it would print a ticket out what your weight was on each axle, and then you would get a fine for being over on an axle. Well, when it's sloshing, of course you're going to be over on an axle. When it sloshes forward, you're going to be over on your drive axles. When it sloshes backwards, you're going to be over on your trailer axles. That's why you have to wait for the slosh. And that was the only place that did this to us. That was dishonest, that would punch your weight on the slosh while you're still sloshing. And he can look at all his scales and see that the numbers are going up and down, up and down. So he knows when you're sloshing and when you're not. And our company got so mad at having to pay these fines for being overweight on the axle that they would have us go directly to a CAT scale after he did this to us and get weighed again. So now we've got 3 scale tickets saying we're not overweight, and his 1 saying we are overweight. And I don't know, that guy got away with that the whole time we were pulling a tanker. And that was just the cost of going into Florida. And when people wonder why, things are expensive, trucking companies, when they know they're going to have to absorb dishonest tickets, they up the freight rate, which is a direct correlation to how much you pay for stuff. So, do you want to talk about your, no? Okay. It's almost bedtime. We're both sleepy. So that's trucking story number 7. And there is another one. I don't know if she wants to talk about it. Maybe later.
I don't even know which one you're talking about.
The one where the cop pulled you over and you had a couple of screws in the tire.
Oh yeah, they were just sitting they weren't in the tire. They was just like, pressed in, but they were so short they didn't go in the tire. All they did was take a pair of pliers and just pull them out. I mean, they weren't posing a flat or anything.
So I'll tell a story. It was a state cop too. It was wasn't it Florida or was it Alabama?
Yeah, it was a Florida scale, the one that always got me every time I went in there.
Okay, Florida state cop pulls us over and inspects the truck she's driving, and somewhere we had run over some screws, little tiny short screws, and he writes her a ticket and walks away. I mean, now that we have the ticket, now we're safe to drive with screws in the tire. So we took a pair of pliers and popped these little screws out and went on about our business. Well, a couple of months later, our company, is paying the fine, and they got to prove that we fixed the out of service thing. And they asked where did we go to get it repaired, and my wife said, well, we didn't go anywhere to get it repaired. It was just a handful of screws. We just popped the screws out with a pair of pliers. No damage to the tire. The screws are about 3/8 of an inch long, and the tire's about 1.5 inches thick where they went in. So no danger. Anyway, that's the kind of dishonesty. Dishonesty for the sake of a ticket was what we encountered so frequently.
And plus the fact that he only DOT'd the trailer because he knew the trailer belonged to our company and the truck belonged to me. And he knew that the company would just pay the fine and go on.
Yep.
And not, that they did that all the time in the scales.
Yep. My view of cops became so soured, and to this day, I know without a doubt that there are that level, that amount, that degree of dishonesty is still out there. They just have refined their methods. And since it's gotten harder and harder for them to do this, the fines for things that they can figure out a way to screw you on have become astronomical. Here's an example. They'll have a low-weight bridge, and it'll be like $10,000 for going over this bridge. Well, you're on a federal freaking highway, and nowhere does it say low-weight bridge ahead. So you don't know till you get up to the bridge that you have to be under a certain weight to be on it. And they'll sit there and wait and write tickets all day long. And they'll bait you into crossing the bridge, and then they'll pull you over and write you a $10,000 ticket. It is such an incredible racket that has zero to do with the safety of the motoring public. Zero. I'm sure that every once in a while they would stumble across, by accident, a truck that deserved to be taken out of service. But 99% of the time, they're writing bogus, dishonest tickets, and they are no better than criminals. They're actually worse than criminals because you have no repercussion. You can't do anything to fight back. If you do, then they come after the entire company. And I've seen that happen. It's just the cost of doing business in America. And I just can't imagine a man holding his head high and going home and looking his wife in the eye and feeling like he did a good job for America when his entire job revolved around writing as many bogus, dishonest, crooked tickets as he possibly could. And the more he did, the quicker he rose up through the ranks. So that might be my last one.
Well, I've got a new bass boat.
New bass boat, yeah. Yep, alrighty. See ya. I'm going to add this little bit to that. It's just a funny little story. And it was an indication to us exactly how cops feel about truckers. Charlie and I were in a little restaurant in Blythe, California. And we were in the restaurant at a booth, eating dinner. And 4 state cops come in, California Highway Patrol, come in and sit at the booth right behind us. Their entire conversation was about stupid truckers. This stupid trucker did that. This stupid trucker did that. How fast this stupid trucker came in. He was talking about 75. Well, you come at Blythe, it's down a bit of a long hill, and then you cross the Colorado River, and you're in California. Well, from the Colorado River back, the speed limit is 75 for everybody. The second you cross the Colorado River, it's instantly 55, which is why they hang around right there at that Colorado River, and they catch people going 75 who haven't quite slowed down yet. So that was their conversation, how many tickets they write. And to me, the one that made me want to vomit was this guy was complaining about his mother. And the more he talked, the more we realized that this grown man in his 40s still lived with his mother. And he couldn't wait to get his own place. And, I just, it was nice to get up and leave them 4 cops. And, it left us with a deeper understanding of just how really they do think about truckers as stupid, dirty, and not deserving of common decency and respect and honesty and constitutional rights and being treated, like a citizen instead of a criminal. All right, now I'm done.